Ex-MOEA green energy official probed for bribery. Chih-chiang joins KMT chair race. Taiwan car sales freeze Deepens. First human case of flesh-eating screwworm parasite detected in U.S. Kim Jong-un oversees anti-air missile test. Jimmy Lai's lawyer speaks out as national security trial nears end. Global mail carriers suspend U.S. deliveries. Basketball card sells for world record $12.9 million.
Hello, I'm Helen. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Tuesday, August 26th, National Women's Equality Day, and here are your top stories. In local news, former deputy head of MOEA's Green Energy Center, Zheng Yilin, is under investigation for allegedly taking bribes. Prosecutors searched 22 locations, questioning Zheng, company executives, and witnesses. Dubbed the ministry's pretty boy, Zheng later joined foreign wind firms and Taiwan Power's platform, sparking revolving door criticism. KMT faces uncertainty as Chairman Eric Chu steps down and Taichung Mayor Liu Xiuyan declines to run. Legislator Luo Zhiqiang announced his bid for party chair, vowing to unseat President Lai Ching-te in 2028. The KMT leadership election is set for October 18th. Taiwan's auto market is facing a deep freeze after lawmakers approved bigger car subsidies last week. Sales collapsed over the weekend. On August 25th, the cabinet confirmed talks with Washington on tariff-free U.S. cars, sparking fears of worse pain. Dealers say they may as well close until October, with August sales set to hit a new low. And in global news, the Department of Health and Human Services said the first human case of flesh-eating parasite New World screwworm has been detected in the United States. HHS spokesman Andrew Nixon, who first reported the story, said the case, which involved a person who had recently traveled to El Salvador, was confirmed to be screwwormed by the CDC on August 4th. He said the risk to public health in the United States from this introduction is very low.
The larva of the New World screwworm fly can devastate cattle herds and is rife in parts of Central America, including Mexico. It can destroy wildlife and even kill household pets. There were serious outbreaks in the 1980s and 1990s in Central America, and it was eradicated at great expense, only to return in the last 2 years. U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke L. Rollins announced a 5-part plan to combat the screwworm. This includes plans to breed billions of sterile flies and dump them from the air in the hope of stopping the parasite's spread. The sterilized male flies mate with females, but the eggs don't hatch. Eventually, the population reduces and dies out. This technique worked in the 1960s when the U.S. suffered its last screwworm outbreak.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un supervised the test firing of 2 types of new anti-air missiles, displaying his expanded military capabilities as the South Korean and U.S. militaries carry out joint drills. The North's official Korean Central News Agency said the test proved the missiles effective in countering aerial threats such as drones and cruise missiles, and that Kim assigned unspecified important tasks to defense scientists ahead of a major political conference expected early next year.
The report did not specify which missiles were tested or where the event took place. The test coincided with new South Korean President Lee Jae-myung's trip to Tokyo for a summit with Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, where they vowed to strengthen bilateral cooperation and their trilateral partnership with the United States to address common challenges, including North Korea's nuclear ambitions. Kim's government has repeatedly dismissed calls by Seoul and Washington to restart long-stalled negotiations aimed at winding down his nuclear and ballistic missile programs, as he continues to prioritize Russia as part of a foreign policy focused on expanding ties with nations confronting the United States.
A lawyer for prominent Hong Kong democracy activist and newspaper founder Jimmy Lai argued that it was not wrong to support freedom of expression as he made final arguments in Lai's landmark sedition trial. Barrister Robert Pan, representing Lai in his fight against charges of colluding with foreign forces to endanger national security and conspiring with others to issue seditious publications. He faces up to life in prison if convicted under a national security law imposed by Beijing.
The high-profile trial entered its final stage last week. Foreign governments and political observers are closely monitoring the outcome, which is widely seen as a barometer of the Chinese territory's judicial independence and press freedom. Pang said it was not wrong to hope that the government would change its policies, whether through internal review or pressure from inside or outside Hong Kong. Prosecutors have deemed 161 articles published in Lai's now-defunct Apple Daily newspaper to be seditious. Pang pushed back against that notion, using 3 examples to argue that they were just reporting, and that the items in question represented only a small fraction of what the newspaper published.
Postal services across the world are halting shipments to the United States this week amid mounting confusion over new import duties that will apply to parcels starting Friday. President Donald Trump signed an executive order last month abolishing the trade loophole known as de minimis, which since 2016 had allowed goods worth up to $800 to enter the U.S. duty-free. The end of the exemption is being extended worldwide after the loophole was closed in May for packages from mainland China and Hong Kong.
Under the new rules, personal gifts worth less than $100 will still be duty-free, but all other packages will face the same tariffs as standard imports from their country of origin. The planned policy shift lacks clear procedures and has raised concerns about backlogs as services are put on hold. Postal providers in Belgium, Denmark, and New Zealand are among several operators that have already suspended shipments of packages to the U.S. until they can retool their systems to comply with the new rules. Letters and documents are generally unaffected. DHL said it will stop accepting parcels containing goods from business customers destined for the U.S. beginning Monday. However, it will continue to deliver private parcels labeled as gifts valued under $100, in line with White House assurances.
According to the auction house which handled the sale, a basketball card featuring Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant was sold for $12.932 million on Saturday, making it the most expensive sports card ever. The 2007-8 Upper Deck Exquisite Collection Dual Logo Man, which was sold in Dallas, Texas, through Heritage Auctions, featuring images of the 2 stars as well as their signatures and NBA logo patches from their jerseys. The buyer's identity was not revealed.
The Dual NBA Logo Autographs series, produced by trading card company Upper Deck between 2004 and 2009, features some of basketball's biggest stars sharing the same card. Each card was released in a limited edition of 1, with Jordan appearing 8 times, paired with the likes of LeBron James and Scottie Pippen, and Bryant featuring in 11. Despite the card having a pre-auction estimate of $6 million, the sale price surpassed the previous record, $12.6 million paid in 2022 for a mint-condition 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle baseball card. Prior to that, the highest amount ever paid for a sports card was considerably lower, $6.6 million for a Honus Wagner card in 2021.
The answer for yesterday was C, displacement. The flood led to the displacement of thousands of families. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into today's news. First human case of flesh-eating screwworm parasite detected in U.S. Number 1. Technique. 技巧, 技术. The densest technique impressed the judges. Number 2. Household. 家庭, 家务. Internet access has become common in most households. Number 3. Combat. 战斗, 格斗. The government launched new policies to combat pollution. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. National Women's Equality Day has been celebrated for many years. It was first observed in 1973, and since then, U.S. Presidents have proclaimed the date annually. The date commemorates the moment in 1920 when Bribery, then Secretary of State, signed the proclamation granting women in the United States the constitutional right to vote. And that's all for today's FUNDAY News. Be sure to tune into FUNDAY News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Helen, your host. I'll see you next time.